Hey guys, welcome back to Vertical Momentum. I'm your host, Richard Kaufman, also known as the Comeback Coach. Guys, have you ever wanted to start a business, or have you started a business and want to stay in business? If so, this episode is for you. My brother Aaron is going to teach you how to start a business, how to go from veteran to vetpreneur, but not only how to start a business, but how to stay in business. Because 90% of the businesses that start fail. Today, we're going to teach you how not to fail. And I want to thank Ryan Hunt, my friend, amazing friend, Veteran Social Summit. It's coming up soon again. So if it wasn't for Ryan Hunt, we wouldn't be together. So Ryan, I love you, brother, and we'll be talking soon. So Aaron, my brother, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Richard. It's an honor to be here. I've been following the podcast for a minute, and hopefully I can live up to a portion of some of the good episodes that I've seen.
Well, you know, you're not only you're a veteran and you're a Marine. I love my Marines. I love their motto. You know, once a Marine, always Marine.
Yes.
I love the mindset of a Marine, and I also think you guys have the best. You guys have the best uniforms.
Well,
no questions asked, hands down. You guys uniforms rock.
Yes, all of those things. Yes,
but you're also a serial entrepreneur, so that's what we're going to talk about today. First question is, what is your definition of resiliency?
Man, resiliency. I was, on a panel at an event yesterday, and they asked me what are the top 3 skills that you need to have as an entrepreneur, and literally the first thing out of my mouth was resiliency, and that resiliency is the ability to bounce back, the ability to get over or around a speed bump, definitely get around the obstacles. Again, I won't. I try not to lead. I will try not to get too deep into the Marine Corps, mottos or credos or sayings or whatever. But resiliency is the ability to adapt and overcome, and not take that slight or discouragement, all the way to quitting. And I, on the scale, I put quitting pretty close to the bottom. Like failing is above quitting for me. No problem with failing, because nobody ever gets everything right. So, but that plays into resiliency also. The ability to fail, learn, and then come back better. Fail, learn, come back better. Yeah, that's my definition.
And of course, we're going to talk about your time in the Marines. You're old school like I am. So our basic training was a lot different than it is today.
Yeah.
But I'm sure now, because the reason I wanted to go to that, because you talked about not quitting. I'm sure that a lot of people that you went to basic training with quit during basic training. So what was it that made you not quit during basic training and as you're in your career as a Marine?
Yeah, certainly. I was in from late 95 to late 99. So pre 9/11, my boot camp experience was incredibly interesting and maybe unique, because I was in the company after the first government shutdown back in 1990, back in the 1900s, in 95. So instead of having 35 to 40 guys in my platoon, we had 110, because we had 3 weeks of government shutdown companies to get through. So they just put us through all at one time, and that made it for a unique experience, because we had over 100 guys and the same amount of drill instructors. So it was, if you just did things fast and loud and exact, then it was easy to blend in. So I had a really great recruiter. So shout out to then Gunny Franklin from Beaumont, Texas. he prepared me. I was very prepared. Like, I hear all these stories over the decades about crappy recruiters, and man, I went in there and told him, look, I'm joining for college. He's like, okay, I got the job for you, supply administration. You're in the rear with the gear. Everybody's your friend. And that's the MOS he put me in. And he told me straight up, boot camp is physical, but it's more a mental game. And that was, and the Marine Corps and military service, it's a mental game. So as long as you're prepared for whatever you're going to be getting into as best you can, you've got a pretty good shot at making it through it. So yeah, there were guys who quit. There were guys who escaped and jumped the fence and ran out on the tarmac and on the San Diego airport and got caught. There were guys who literally just quit. Literally just like flopped down, hands crossed, would not move, would not do anything, and like they got picked up and carted off when we didn't see them. There were guys who physically had to quit because their bodies were breaking down, and there were guys who mentally checked out. We almost had a full metal jacket situation where second phase coming off of the rifle range, first week, and we're going through the regular like pat down when we get back to the barracks, and one of the guys is getting patted down. Then all of a sudden our drum instructor tells everybody to get in the back of the squad bay, and he whispers over to the side, and then all the drill instructors swarm this guy and they take him into the senior's office. And then like 5 minutes later, the MPs came and got him. We found out later from one of the scribes that they found a couple of rounds shoved into his boot. Like he was trying to smuggle them off the rifle range into squad bay. We didn't know what he was going to do, who he was going to go after, but yeah, crazy stuff. Crazy.
Now, when I talk to young guys and girls that are about to join, most people that join don't have a plan.
Yeah.
They're just like, you know what? I'm young. I'm dumb. I'm full of cum. I'm going to live forever. But there's no 80-year-old grunts. Eventually you're going to have to hang up your uniform for that last time. So you actually went in with a plan to get out.
Yes. Yeah. That was the plan.
So now when you talk to people nowadays, do you tell them that, because I had General Petraeus on the show and I talked to him, I said, they always teach you what to do in the military. They don't teach you what to do when you get out of the military.
Yes.
So when you're talking to these younger soon to be troops or troops that are in the military now, what is your advice to them?
Yeah. Go in with a plan, go in with an outcome. Now, obviously, you make the plan and then life happens, it's Mike Tyson's famous quote, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And that's life in the military, isn't it? For sure. So come in with a plan. You plan to make a career out of it, then that's your mindset. You plan to go and get a skill and get out and use it in the real world, do it. My plan, again, college. I was going to do my 4. I was going to do as much college as I could while I was in, and then finish and go get my degree and not be saddled with, astronomical student loans nowadays. So, yeah, go in with the best plan that you've got. Now, once you're out, and I'm going to be one of those old guys, one of those old heads, there are a lot more resources now than when we got out. So there is absolutely no shame. And even when you're going to get out, start planning. a year or two in advance. Have a year-long plan, have a 6-month plan. There are tons of resources out there, free, no cost, extremely low cost. And nowadays, you can plug into this magnificent community that we have. You could go on LinkedIn and damn near find anybody. We're all out there putting ourselves out there. You can go on Facebook or whatever social, Instagram, TikTok. You can search for veterans and you can connect with them. Search for somebody who got out, a year ago and ask for advice, connect with them and ask for advice. This is one of the biggest things that I try to, advocate for is we have a community that takes care of each other. Everybody wants everybody to do well. Everybody will take time. All the veterans will take time out to help soon to be veterans. I've got a neighbor, 2 houses down. I think he just officially got out after a career in the Army, and he started planning 2 years in advance. We met a year and a half ago, and he told me about a year and a half ago, hey, I'm getting out, I'm retiring, I'm setting myself up. So go over to Best Military Resume and get a free resume. There's a great program there. Owner's a veteran, great guy, great product. Go online and get this free training from Google or LinkedIn or whatever. Come up with a plan. There are tons of resources, and we all have each other. We're all going to take care of each other.
Yep. And most people don't realize, like, if you're a veteran, you get a year's worth of LinkedIn premium for free. Now, like, I've taken advantage of it. I've taken over 65 courses on LinkedIn for free, college level courses, and they automatically add it to your resume where you don't even have to think about it. So that's something that's free. You don't even have to do anything for it. Just sign up for it. But now, I realize that, what I've been doing now for the last 13 years is I realize that if a veteran or first responder has a mission again,
yes,
they're much less likely to take their own lives. So for me, I help veterans become vetpreneurs. Mm-hmm. If you have a business, if you have a 501(c), you're so much less likely to take your own life if you have a mission again. So how important is it once you hang up that uniform for the last time to find a mission again?
Critical, crucial. It's one of those things that separates us from the civilian population. Whether you spent 4 years or 24 years or however long in the military, we were all given a mission, and we were all trained to have a mission. And this is why you hear stories of veterans kind of drifting after they get out, because they lack that mission and they like the camaraderie, for sure. So being involved with a nonprofit, having a mission, whether it's it's much easier for me, at least, to find a mission when you own your own business. But your mission doesn't have to be your business either. It could be your family. It could be your church. It could be whatever. But finding something to pour yourself into is absolutely critical. Go work a corporate job. As long as you have a mission and the mission's not that corporate job, you can have nonprofits, you can be involved with nonprofits, you can give, you can do whatever. But finding a mission, finding that thing that, when you need that resiliency and that motivation, if you can think about that and focus on that, it's going to get you through some hard times, some dark times, kind of anything.
So, Aaron, do you agree with me that you don't have to be an entrepreneur you can actually be an entrepreneur if you work for companies and you find, okay, I love what I'm doing, but I also want to be financially well off.
Yeah.
I also want to become a leader. So you can be an entrepreneur. You don't actually have to be an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. You find the right place to be in, and you hear all kinds. There are all kinds of examples of, actually, I just saw a couple yesterday at a local veteran entrepreneur kind of symposium where they two lifelong SBA employees, like 37 years and 34 years, tons of service, veteran and mill spouse. And those folks, found a way to be that entrepreneur, even at the SBA, where they created programs, they did outreach, they put on events. There are plenty of ways to be entrepreneurial inside of a large company, as long as it's the right fit. Sometimes you'll run into, folks who like to play politics. I have some experience in that as well.
Okay, so obviously, I'm Aaron. I'm 56. I just turned 56. So, but I'm actually writing an article about LinkedIn tomorrow about how to thrive and survive after the age of 50, because a lot of us will spend 20, 25 years in the military. We get out, we're 45, maybe 50 years old, and we think it's time to hang it up. So what are your thoughts on, as you're getting out, now you're seasoned, now you're getting out into the corporate world. So how important is it to use the experience that you've learned in the military to take it into a corporate world or into entrepreneurship?
Oh my God, it's critical. 20, 25 years, people getting out in their 40s. I just turned 48 a few weeks ago, but I was not a career Marine, so I've been out more than half my life now. But I have, friends who have recently gotten out, like my neighbor, for example, and he went and got a job in Microsoft. So, but he is literally, we had this discussion yesterday where he's introducing himself to his team, and his team member, and they're distributed. They all work remotely in different time zones. And he's using that experience, that career military experience. He knows how to handle himself. He knows how to handle, direct reports, certainly. So he's introducing himself to his team, and multiple folks commented that they appreciated him reaching out to them to introduce himself. So it's one of those things that's not common. It's one of those things that we learn to do anytime you get sent to a new unit or a new station or wherever. You introduce yourself. You, especially your team members, especially people in your unit. Hey, who are you? What do you do? What's your story? That's not you don't get taught that in college. Certainly not in undergrad. You probably don't get it taught in grad school. So these are things that people have to kind of learn on their own in corporate America. But we've already received that education. We know how to work with people from different places with different backgrounds, and it's an uncommon skill, and it's something that can absolutely be effective in the corporate world. And the same as far as being an entrepreneur, starting a business. You know how to manage people. Well, that's hiring employees and managing them. And because we were in the military, we couldn't fire people. So you found ways to, motivate, discipline, train employees. Well, guess what? Veterans are less likely to fire employees than civilians because we have a little bit more training. That is absolutely valuable, especially when you're making your employees better and they get it. They'll appreciate it. So they're going to have more loyalty. You know, every veteran entrepreneur that I heard yesterday speak at this thing, we talked about how the employees are more like family. You know, I've worked for family businesses, I've worked for civilian businesses, and that's just not the feel. And it's because we have that kind of different experience, and we know that it works. So it's absolutely crucial, both, you know, if you're going to go out in your 40s and 50s and get a corporate job or start a business. One of the things that I ran into, I got recruited to work at Cisco Systems. My boss was 27. I was 40. But I had this experience of you know, now granted, when I served, I was, you know, I was 18 to 22, but I do have that experience of, you know, being that slightly seasoned corporal and having a new boot lieutenant come in who was my age and didn't know anything, but I knew how to work with this younger guy. And when he would not give me some great leadership just simply because he wasn't trained, you know, I give him feedback. Hey, I would appreciate it if you did it this way instead of that way, and this is why. And, I mean, the guy's a CMO now at another company. He took the feedback and he's incorporated and used it. And he's become more successful at it. So we have some of that experience of training up and coaching up and managing up as well. And that's crucial, especially in corporate world.
And I love it. And guys, I think EQ is so much more important than IQ, especially in business. Now, I've been in the vet tribe, the vetpreneur tribe, since we had 500 members. I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs, vetpreneurs go in business, go out of business. Yeah. Everybody wants to get out of the military, start a t-shirt company, a hat company, liquor, coffee, and within 6 months they're out of business.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is because they try to compete on price. And most of all, if you're competing on price, you can only race to the bottom. And then when you get to the bottom, you're out of business. So what are some of the things that you see from brand new business owners? Why are they failing at such a high rate?
Well, first off, veterans, I love y'all. I'm a veteran. Don't start a coffee company. There are enough. Don't come to me and tell me that you're going to crush grunt style. It's just, bro, it's not going to happen. I love y'all. I can help, but let's calm down on the t-shirts and the coffee. You're already in it, so you don't count, Richard. I'm talking about new folks. All right. So, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, one of the biggest things is, you know, honestly, it is a little, you know, business education-y, but product market fit. What is the demand? Like, what problem are you solving? Because no matter what you're doing, if you're providing a service, if you're selling a product, if you're building something, whatever, at the end of the day, you're solving somebody's problem. Now, that problem might be hunger or thirst or, you know, direct need for caffeine injection. It could be plumbing. It could be roofing. It could be being a lawyer, whatever, doctor, whatever. Whatever problem you're solving, make sure it's a real problem. That's a big thing. I have this great idea for this thing. It's like, well, that's great, but what problem are you solving? And are people looking to solve that problem, or do you have to convince them that they have a problem? That's a much tougher sell. You know, if people know that they have a problem, whatever it is, they want to identify with their group. Well, that's like damn near all apparel these days. I want to be able to see clearly, like there's a ton of different needs that might not be service related. It could be prestige or, you know, whatever. Anyway, you got to make sure that you're solving a problem. Number one. Number two, understand that you cannot do it all yourself. Like, as a former solopreneur, I know plenty of solopreneurs. It's incredibly difficult to try to do everything yourself. You can't learn everything. So a lot of veterans I see, like most of the clients that I work with, I can't think of one in the last 5 years, 10 years that had like everything done, because you can't do everything and you have blind spots. So like the first thing I do for virtually every client is just basic blocking and tackling for marketing. So that's setting up the website correctly. That's, make sure you're tracking everything correctly. Those are some really key things that I see from $100,000 a year solopreneur all the way up to $50 million a year, manufacturers, fencing and contractors, big plumbing group here. They just don't know everything. So you got to make sure that you've got either education and the time and the expertise to do it, or find people who have the time and the expertise to do it. Yesterday I heard a story of a gentleman starting a business, and he paid a law firm $5,000 to start his business. And that was like physically painful to me. He with Secretary of State and everything, funds out the door, it should have cost him about $750 max. Talked with another veteran who owns an HVAC business here. $40,000 in website and Google ads and got 0 customers. Like that, he's still in business. He's got a good business. But that is so physically painful for me to hear, because it's so unnecessary. And it's because that you don't know what you don't know. And that could be in the realm of legal, in finance, and marketing, in sales. If you're a technician and you're, repairing something, you might not, like when I first, you might not know how to hire people. When I started hiring my first people in my first business, dude, I didn't know what I was doing. I was literally going to Barnes and Noble, because I'm that old, and like finding books on how to hire people and reading them as I'm like writing job descriptions and doing interviews. And there are tons of resources out there. So many resources for free to veterans, to entrepreneurs. Go to the SBA, go to your local SBA, go to your local, oh God, I'm starting to remember or forget the acronyms, SBOC and Small Business Development Center, Small Business Veterans Center. Man, they've got people who have done it before, who are educated and know how to do it. They can do it. They can train you to do it. They can help you to do it. There are tons of resources out there. And then again, I always point back to our community and asking, seeking out other veteran business owners. Hey, man. Hey, lady. And military spouses. My goodness, I can't forget them ever. There's such a community. Everybody's willing to help. If you've got a question, ask the group. Somebody's been there. Somebody knows how to do it. Somebody can point you to the right resources. You do not have to reinvent the wheel. Like, we've got our wheel so good, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's somebody that can help you do anything.
Okay, now, but like I said, I'm old school. Yeah, I took a company, a GNC, from $400,000 a year to $1.4 million a year. Within 3 years, we didn't have any money to market, so we did old school guerrilla marketing.
Yep,
shaking hands, kissing babies, handing out flyers, knocking on doors.
Yep.
So talk to us about sometimes if you don't have a lot of money. I mean, right now you can get Chat GPT for $20 a month, and you can get so much info out of that. but sometimes old school marketing still works. Hey, Aaron, I know you have this business. I have this business. How about we barter? I can help you with your this and you can help me with that. So talk about some old school techniques that some of these youngins can learn from.
Oh God, yes. It does not have to be digital, especially this younger generation. Like digital is literally how I've eaten for the last 25 years. People, connection, depending on your business, yes, that GNC store, guess what? You're going to have a radius around that store. People are not going to drive more than a few miles to go to a GNC unless they have a personal relationship with somebody there. Yeah. That's how you expand that from 2 miles to 4 miles. You get out there and you make connections with people, knocking on doors, finding a business. Hey, I need a website. You need accounting. I'll manage your website and do some marketing for you if you do my tax returns. Done. Guess what? That just saved me anywhere between $500 and $1,500. There are tons of old school tactics, business cards, flyers. I'm just trying to think of locally. There are so many events that are for free. That's like every street fair in your community. Go and seek out your local VFW hall or your American Legion post, because there is a community there. Making personal connections, like that's what sticks. Hey, I just opened this business. I'm a veteran. Can you come by and support me? Like lean. Hey, we earned it. We earned it the hard way. Lean in. I used to, even like when I was younger, I didn't lean into my my service, my veteran status. It is such a tool. It immediately builds trust. It's a proof point. So if you've got a business and you've got a competitor that has a business and you're actively promoting that you're a veteran-owned business, people are going to choose you, all things being equal. So, but yeah, tapping into your local community, your churches, your, chamber of commerce, a lot of those meetings are free, not always, but there are tons of free places and low cost, and you can do a whole lot of stuff like that free digitally. You know what? Social media is free. Facebook, LinkedIn, X, Instagram, it's all free. Reach out and find people and connect. Reach out and find people locally. It doesn't have to be all over. One of the first things that I moved to the Chicago area a year and a half ago. First thing I did was look around to see what networks I could plug into, what local groups I could plug into to meet folks, to start building a community, because I didn't have one here. I utilize LinkedIn daily. Yep. It's free. I search for veterans with the business title of owner in Greater Chicago area, and I find people and I reach out and I say, hey, I'm a veteran. I have this small business. Let's connect to see if we can refer business together or work together, or what have you. I met a fellow vetrepreneur who's in digital marketing yesterday. I'm like, hey, what do you do? This is what I do. We're not competitors. Like, we're competing against, the huge agencies. We're not competing against each other. Let's find a way to work together. Collaboration is the best tool possible. Hey, let's work together. Let's co-sponsor something. Let's co-advertise something. Then you're leveraging both of your networks, or you're plugging into a new network. There are lots of ways that you can do this old school for free. Start broadcasting on YouTube, start making videos. Like there are tons of ways to do it where it just takes a little bit of planning, a little bit of planning. You want to do things consistently because that's key, because when you start showing up multiple times, people know you're for real. Don't do a bunch of things just once. Do one thing a bunch of times, because those people who are involved, they're going to see you're legit. They're going to see you're dependable. And that goes a whole long way.
Yep. And I also, when I talk to people that are starting service businesses, whether it's HVAC, whether it's landscaping, I tell them, buy the best vehicle you can, nicest, make it look good. Make sure it's clean. Make sure you have all your graphics on it. Make sure when you get out of your vehicle, make sure you look presentable. Whatever job. Obviously, if you're HVAC, you're not going to show up in a 3-piece suit.
Yeah.
But at least show up in khakis and a polo shirt if you're gonna do some business. Because most people I know, if they see somebody working on somebody's house, we're all looking outside.
Yep.
We're looking at the truck. We're looking at the people that are going in and out. And we're like, hey, if I need that service, I'm going to go talk to the neighbor and get information on this guy. But if their vehicle looks like trash, and if they look like trash getting out of their vehicle, then I'm not going to hire them.
No.
What are your thoughts on that?
100,000%. You got to look better than the role you're playing, right? Even if you own the place, you dress for the job you want, not the job you have. So 100%, so you're doing a home service, be presentable, be professional. Don't show up with, baggy, dirty clothes. Even if you came from the previous job. Hey, look, I previously owned an HVAC business, so I have some experience in home services. And hey, there's nothing clean about crawling around an attic in Texas. I know I've passed out in attics in Texas before. Have extra uniforms if you're going to get dirty at one before you show up to the next. Knock on the neighbor's door. A lot of people work from home. Spoiler alert, here behind me and there behind. A lot of people are working from home. You're doing a job at a house, go knock over on the neighbor's house, see if somebody's home. Introduce yourself. Hey, I just want to let you know I'm doing some work next door. It might be loud, even though it's not going to be loud. My car's parked here, my van's parked here, my truck's parked here. Let me know if we're disturbing you, even though you're not going to be disturbed. It's just a way to introduce yourself. It's a way to be professional. It's, hey, by the way, because you're so-and-so's neighbor, we have a 15% off coupon or deal or whatever. It's just a way to get in front of another neighbor. That's a fantastic way to generate business. And what's it going to take? A couple minutes to look presentable, and a couple minutes for either you or train your folks, your employees to do that for you. And incentivize those folks. My goodness, if you're going to have them doing neighborly sales, hey, I'll give you 10% on top, of your salary if you get a new deal in. Like there are tons of ways to be professional and be, you use those kind of guerrilla sales, guerrilla marketing tactics, but you got to look the part, because if I see somebody looking like dirt, I'm not going to invite them into my house. That's for sure.
Yeah. So this is a teaching podcast. So if Private Joe Snuffy is just about to get out of the military, what would be your top 3 pieces of advice if they wanted to become an entrepreneur or vetpreneur?
Number one, have that be your plan. And I know some folks getting out know they want to own a business, but they don't know what they want to own a business in, which is perfectly fine. I've been in that situation before. I know other veterans who have recently been in that situation, gotten out after a career and say, okay, I know I want to own a business because I'm not going to be able to take orders from some schmuck. I think that's a big reason why there's so many veteran entrepreneurs. First thing, get your resources lined up. Like, holy cow, check out the IVMF. They have programs to train you how to be an entrepreneur and a business owner. Boost a Business, Warrior Rising. Like, there are tons of, government funded, like SBA. There are tons of nonprofits all over the place, nationally and locally, that are specifically there to help people become entrepreneurs, to become business owners, especially veterans. And it's all free. It's all free. Things that I wish I had when I were 22 years old, 23 years old. Educate yourself. Number one thing, educate and get all the help. Ask for all the help you can get. Like, you don't have to be a hero and do it all on your own and figure it out. This trail has been well blazed, and everybody wants to pull you along and show you what not to do is probably the biggest thing. Absolutely. Don't make the mistakes that we all have made. That's the biggest thing that's going to drain your resources, your money, because you're going to need money. There's no free money. You got to be prepared to, launch this business and be hungry for a while, because the likelihood of you starting a business and you're profitable in the first month, virtually none. So you got to have a plan. You got to be prepared. You got to get educated. Yeah, those are the biggest things. Those would be the biggest things for me.
Yeah, and I love that you say that, there's a success tax that you must pay.
Yes.
Every entrepreneur has paid the success tax, whether it's time, money, or both. I want to give a big shout out again to Ryan Hunt.
Yeah.
He's been on the show many times. I've been a featured speaker on the Veteran Social Summit. We both did it today. I Decide Mental Health Summit. So Ryan Hunt, I love you. I appreciate you. Aaron, my brother. So how can we get in touch with you? How can we get into your ecosystem?
Yeah, certainly. Well, I do digital marketing. I've been doing it for 25 years. So all you have to do is search for Aaron M. Welch, and I'm Googleable. So that's one way. My company, Lift Digital Marketing. So you can search just for Lift Digital Marketing. We show up first. But the website is Lift, that's L-I-F, this way, L-I-F-T dash, like the hyphen digital.net. You can search for Lift Digital Marketing. You can search for Aaron M. Welch. If you're a veteran business owner in the Chicagoland area, please definitely find me on LinkedIn, because one of the ways that I am giving back and trying to help is recently I've created the Chicagoland Veteran Business Owners Group, waiting on the IRS for our 501c3 accreditation, but group of veteran business owners in the Chicagoland area, free to join. We have a monthly Zoom meeting where we all get together and introduce ourselves, ask for help, have a featured speaker. Although a lot of times, we get chatty and get into solving problems rather than a featured speaker. But we do have that space because it's all about connection. It's all about supporting each other's businesses, education. Because again, there isn't a veteran entrepreneur in your area that hasn't run into the problem that you're trying to solve. So you can find me online. I'm easy to find. And yeah, I primarily work with service-based businesses because I am one. but I work with folks all over. Happy to give advice. You can find and schedule time on my my Calendly. I have carved out specifically time for veterans and veteran-owned businesses. And then finally, one final plug is every Thursday at noon. Oh, excuse me. Every Thursday at noon, I have a Ask Me Anything in regards to digital marketing, to veteran entrepreneurship, nationally, locally. I don't care. You can find me in my Zoom. So you can search for my LinkedIn, my Facebook, my business, my nonprofit. Ryan's actually, been encouraging me to write a book because I do have, 25 years of experience in digital marketing. So there's lots of ways to find me. Reach out, connect, friend, slide into my DMs. Happy to help and give advice and point you in the right direction.
All right, Aaron, I appreciate you coming on. And guys, we talked about swag before. If you pick up any of our veterans supporting veteran swag, 100% of the proceeds go to help end veteran suicide. So if you want to pick up any of our swag, t-shirts, hats, hoodies, 100% of proceeds go to help end veteran suicide. And also join our veteran supporting veterans Facebook group. Almost 11,000 veterans supporting one another, just helping each other out. Guys, as I end the show every week, every morning when we wake up, we have a choice. We can be a victim or we can be a victor. And if you guys watch this show, you're no longer victims of your past. You're victors of your present and your future. Thank you guys for always showing up. And remember that vertical momentum, the only way to go is up. I love you guys. Aaron, my brother, have an awesome week.
You too.
Take care, brother.
All right. Bye-bye.